Hi students, in this video we are going to discuss and learn the second segment of the lesson, Plant Kingdom. In the previous session we have learned about algae and the amphibious plants called bryophytes. Now we are going to learn a new plant group called pteridophytes. These are considered as the first true land plants. Pteridophytes include horsetails and ferns. They are found in cool, damp, shady places and some can grow well in the sandy soil conditions. Evolutionarily, they are considered as the first terrestrial land plants to possess the vascular tissues. Vascular tissues are nothing but the xylem and the phloem. In bryophytes, the dominant phase is the gametophyte, whereas in pteridophytes, what we are going to learn, the dominant phase is the sporophyte. Dominant phase means the main plant body is the sporophyte in pteridophytes. It is differentiated into root, stem and leaves. These organs are very well developed and have well differentiated vascular system. The leaves in the pteridophyte are small. They are called as microphylls, example Selaginella. And in some they are large. They are called as macrophylls, example ferns. Pteridophyte plants are used for medicinal purposes. They are used as soil binders for soil conservation, and they are also grown as ornamental plants. Now reproduction in pteridophyte. The sporophyte, this is the plant body which is the sporophyte, which is dominant phase of the plants, will bear the sporangia, and this sporangia will give rise to the spores. And these sporangia are located in a structure called sorus, which are present on the leaves backside. And so the leaf bearing this sporangium are called as sporophylls. In some cases the sporophylls form distinct compact structures and they are called as strobilus like this. Example Selaginella and Equisetum. Sporangia will produce the spores by meiosis. The spore mother cells in the leaf will undergo meiosis to produce the spores which are having n number of chromosomes. These spores will germinate to form a small inconspicuous multicellular free living photosynthetic thallus which is called as gametophyte. And this is the gametophytic prothallus of fern plant. The prothallus requires cool, damp and shady place to grow. It needs water for fertilization. Gametophyte or the prothallus bears the male organ which is called as antheridium. This is the antheridium in the posterior margin, and female sex organ which is called as archegonium in the anterior portion of the prothallus. The antheridium produces the anthrozoids which are the male gametes. These anthrozoids will swim in the water to fuse with the eggs which are produced by the archegonium still present in the prothallus, and this forms the zygote. Zygote will develop into the multicellular well differentiated sporophyte. Most of the pteridophyte produces similar kinds of spores, and so they are homosporous. But some produces two kinds of spores. One will be bigger and another one will be smaller. The bigger ones are called as megaspores and the smaller ones are called as microspores. If they produce two kinds of spores, they are said to be heterosporous, example Selaginella and Salvinia. The megaspores and the microspores germinate and give rise to the female and the male gametophyte respectively. The female gametophyte will be retained in the parent body, parent sporophyte, for some period. Within the female gametophyte, the zygote develops into the young embryos, and this becomes the precursor to the seed habitat, and it is considered as an important event in the evolution. Now let us see the life cycle of pteridophyte. In pteridophytes, the dominant phase is the sporophytic generation. The sporophytic generation will have the sporangium in their leaves. This sporangium will divide meiotically to produce the spores. The sporangium, when it matures, it will dehisce, it will break to release the spores which are having n number of chromosomes, and these spores will germinate into the young gametophyte which is called as prothallus, gametophytic prothallus. This gametophytic prothallus will bear the male and the female sex organs. So the male sex organ is called as antheridium in the posterior end, and the female sex organ is called the archegonium in the anterior end. Archegonium is flash shaped. It has a broad venter and a narrow neck. Neck will have the neck canal cells, and the venter possesses the egg or the ovum. So these will produce their gametes. The female will produce the egg cell, and the male will produce the anthrozoids, spirally coiled and multiflagellated anthrozoids. These anthrozoids are motile and they will swim about and reach the egg cell in the prothallus to fuse with it to form the zygote with 2n number of chromosomes. This zygote in the prothallus will germinate to form the embryo and develop into the young sporophyte. And this is the leaf of the young sporophyte. This will develop into the plant, sporophytic plant. Once again they will produce the sporangium. Sporangium will divide to form the spores like that. The gametophytic generation will alternate with the sporophytic generation. Pteridophytes thus show apospory and apogamy. Apospory refers to the production of the diploid gametophyte from the diploid sporophyte, and apogamy refers to the process of developing haploid embryo without fertilization. Classification of pteridophytes. Reimer in 1954 proposed the classification for pteridophytes, and pteridophytes are divided into 5 subdivisions, namely Psilophytopsida, Psilotopsida, Lycopsida, Phenopsida and Pteropsida, and there are 19 orders in them and 48 families are there in the classification. These are the pictures of some of the pteridophytes. Economic importance of pteridophytes. Rumhora adiantiformis, which is the leather leaf fern, is used to arrange the flowers in bouquet, cut flower arrangement. Marsilia is used as food. Azolla is used as a biofertilizer. Dryopteris felix, this is used in the treatment for tapeworm. Teres vittata, it is used to remove the heavy metal from the soil, that is bioremediation. Theridium species, the leaves of this plant yield green color dye. Equisetum species, their stems are used for scouring. Scouring is nothing but by rubbing on the surface of something we can make it very bright and shiny. Psilotum, Lycopodium, Selaginella, Angiopteris and Maratia. They are all used as ornamental plants. Now types of stelae. What is a stele? We have already learned about stele in 10th standard. The stele is nothing but the central cylinder of the vascular system. The vascular system consists of xylem, phloem, pericycle, and it also includes some medullary rays with pith. There are different types of stele. Let us see the types of stele. They are broadly classified into 2 types, namely protostele and siphonostele. Protostele, first one. Phloem will surround the xylem. In protostele, phloem will be outer and xylem will be in the center. It includes many other types, namely haplostele, actinostele, plactostele and mixed protostele. In haplostele, the xylem is surrounded by phloem. Example, Selaginella. In actinostele, the xylem will be star shaped. This is present in the center as core, and this will be surrounded by the phloem. Example, Lycopodium serratum. In Plectostele, the xylem will be present as plates which will be alternated with the plates of the phloem. Example is Lycopodium clabatum. The next one is the mixed protostele. In this, the xylem groups uniformly scattered in the phloem. They will be scattered in the phloem. Example, Lycopodium cernum. The second type is called as siphonostele. In the siphonostele, the xylem will be surrounded by phloem with the pith in the center. Pith will be present, then xylem, after that phloem. This includes ectophloic siphonostele, amphiploic siphonostele, solanostele, eustele, atactostele, and polycyclic stele. First one, ectophloic siphonostele. This is the ectophloic siphonostele, which will have the pith in the center. Pith will be surrounded by the xylem, and xylem will be surrounded by the phloem. Example, Osmunda. Amphiploic siphonostele. Here the phloem is present on both the sides of the xylem, and pith will be present in the center. Example, Marsilia. Solanostele. The stele is perforated at one place or many places corresponding to the origin of the leaf trace. So where the leaf will be originated in the stem, so there it will be, the stele will be perforated. And this is again classified into ectophloic solanostele and amphiploic solanostele. In ectophloic solanostele, the pith in the center and it is surrounded by the xylem, and xylem will be surrounded by the phloem, that is Osmunda, what we have seen already. The second one, amphiploic solanostele, the pith will be in the center and the phloem is present on both the side of the xylem, that is adiatum, pedatum. The third one is dictyostele. A dictyostele, the stele is separated into several vascular strands like this, and each one is called as meristele. Example, adiatum, capillus, eustele. The stele is split into distinct collateral vascular bundles around the pith. This kind of stele is seen in the dicot stem. Atactostele. The stele is split into distinct collateral vascular bundles and they are scattered in the ground tissue. Example for this, monocot stem. These both we have already learned. Polycyclic stele. The vascular tissue is present in the form of two or more concentric cylinders. Example, pterygium. Phanerogams are divided into gymnospermae and angiospermae. Now we are going to learn about gymnosperms. Gymnosperms are naked seeded plant. The ovules are not enclosed by the ovary wall and they remain exposed before and after fertilization. Seeds that are developing after fertilization are not covered, they are naked. This is the comparison between the two ovules. This is gymnosperm ovule, which is not having the ovary wall. This is the angiosperm ovule, which is having the nucellus megasporocyte along with the ovary wall. And this ovary wall only will develop into the fruit after fertilization. Gymnosperm include medium-sized trees to tall trees and shrubs. The tallest tree species, which is the Sequoia dendron, giant redwood species, is shown in this picture. Gymnosperm, their roots are generally taproot, and the roots in some genera have fungal association and it is called as mycorrhiza. Example, Pinus. In some plants like Cycas, the small specialized roots are called as coralloid roots and they are associated with nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. Stems are unbranched as in Cycas and branched as in the case of Pinus. The leaves are simple or compound. They are well adapted to withstand the extreme temperature, humidity as well as wind. In Cycas, the pinnate leaf persists for few years. This is the pinnate leaf. In conifers like Pinus, the needle-like leaf reduces the surface area, and the thick cuticle and sunken stomata also helps to reduce the water loss through transpiration. Gymnosperms are heterosporous. They produce haploid microspores and megaspores. Some leaves are modified as the sporophyll, and they are compactly and spirally arranged along an axis to form structures which are called as cones or strobili. This is the gymnosperm male cone, longitudinal section. The sporophylls will bear the sporangia from which the spores will be produced. And sporophylls are of two types, microsporophyll and megasporophyll. Microsporophyll will produce the male gamete and megasporophyll will develop the female gamete. Microsporophyll. So they are arranged on the male strobili or microsporangia, and they will bear the microspores that will develop into the male gametophyte. They are highly reduced and confined only to limited number of cells. This gametophyte is called as pollen grains. The pollen grains will develop within the microsporangia. The female cone is called as megasporophyll, and they are arranged in the female strobili. They bear the megasporangia or the ovules, and the megasporangium mainly consists of a body which is called as nucellus, and it is protected by the envelopes. The megaspore mother cell is differentiated from the cell of the nucellus. Megaspore will undergo meiosis and produce 4 megaspores. One of the megaspore is enclosed within the megasporangium, that is nucellus, develop into the multicellular female gametophyte, and it will bear 2 or more archegonia. The multicellular female gametophyte is also retained within the megasporangium. Male and the female cones may be born on the same tree as in the case of Pinus, or in different trees as in the case of Cycas. Like bryophytes and pteridophytes, gymnosperm, they do not exist as independent free living. They remain within the sporangium, which is retained in the sporophyte body. Gymnosperms belong to Jurassic Cretaceous period of Mesozoic era. Michael Crichton's science fiction book, which was transformed into a film called Jurassic Park in 1993, and this film was produced by Steven Spielberg. What is amber? The insects are embedded in a transparent substance, and this transparent substance could preserve the extinct forms, which is called as amber. So what is amber and which group of plants produces amber? It's an important question. Amber is a plant secretion which is an efficient preservative that does not get degraded, and hence it can preserve the remains of extinct life form. The amber is produced by the plant called gymnosperm plant called Pinettis saxonifera. Most of the gymnosperms are evergreen woody trees. Leaves in the gymnosperm are dimorphic. That means they occur in 2 forms. Foliage leaves which are green and photosynthetic. They are borne on the branches of limited growth, and they too have the scaly leaves. They are present on covering the stem. Xylem consists of tracheids in all the gymnosperm, but certain gymnosperm like Netum and Epidra vessels are also present. Xylem vessels are also present. Secondary growth is present. The wood may be monoxylic as in the case of Cycas. Monoxylic means the wood will be soft, porous, and they will have more parenchyma with wide medullary rays. In some cases they are pycnoxylic. Pycnoxylic means the wood will be compact with the narrow medullary rays. Example, Pinus for it. They produce 2 types of spores. They are heterosporous. The male and the female cones are produced as microsporangia and megasporangia on the microsporophyll and megasporophyll. Pollination takes place through wind, that is anemophilous, and fertilization is siphonogamous, and that means the pollen tube will be developing and it will help in the transfer of the male nuclei into the ovule. Polyembryony, which means presence of many embryo, is also present in the case of gymnosperm. Endosperm is haploid and develops before fertilization. Endosperm is haploid here and it develops before fertilization, whereas in the case of the angiosperm it is triploid. Classification of gymnosperm. Gymnosperms are classified into 3 classes, namely Cycadopsida, Coniferopsida and Netopsida, and they are again classified into 9 orders and 31 families, and these are the pictures of certain gymnosperms. Now the economic importance of gymnosperm. This is the plant name, product name, and how it is used. Cycas succinalis, Cycas revoluta is used to produce a sago starch. It is the name of the starch and it is used as food. Pinus gerardiana, the roasted seeds of this plant is used as food. Abies balsamia, resin which is got out of this Abies balsamia is used as Canada balsam for mounting the specimen on the slide for permanent slide preparation. Pinus insularis, Pinus roxburghi. They are used to produce the product like rosin and turpentine, used for paper sizing and used as varnishes. Araucaria, which is called monkey's puzzle, Physia and Phylocladus. The bark of the plant will yield the tannins which is used in the leather industries. Taxus brevifolia, the taxol substance drug which is extracted from this plant is used for cancer treatment. Epidra gerardiana, ephedrine is the medicine which is extracted from this, used for the treatment of asthma and bronchitis. Pinus roxburghi, oleoresin which is used for making soaps, varnishes and printing inks. Pinus roxburghi and Physia smithiana. The wood pulp of this plant is used to make the papers. Cedrus deodara. The wood is used for making doors, boats and railway sleepers. Cedrus atlantica. The oil from this is used in the perfumery. Thuja, cupressus, Araucaria and Cryptomeria. They are grown as the ornamental plant and floral decoration. What are the differences between gymnosperm and angiosperm? So far we have been learning about gymnosperm and we are going to learn about angiosperm. So before learning about angiosperm, let us know the differences between gymnosperm and angiosperm. In gymnosperm, vessels are absent except in the last higher class, that is knee tails. All the other classes do not have vessels. Knee tails have vessels in them. Angiosperms, all the angiosperm have vessels. Xylem vessels are present. Phloem lacks companion cell in the gymnosperm, whereas angiosperm phloem has got companion cell. Gymnosperm ovules are naked. Ovules are enclosed within the ovary in the angiosperm. In gymnosperm, pollination takes place only through the wind, that is anemophily alone take place, whereas in angiosperm there are various agents of pollination like insect, wind, water, animals, etc. In gymnosperm, double fertilization is absent. In angiosperm, double fertilization is present. Gymnosperm endosperm is haploid. Angiosperm endosperm is triploid. In gymnosperm, there is no fruit formation. Fruit formation is present in angiosperm. Gymnosperm do not bear flowers. Flowers are present in the angiosperm. Now let us see the similarities of gymnosperm and angiosperm. Both of them have very well organized plant body, which is differentiated into root, stem and leaves. Cambium is present in gymnosperm as well as in the dicotyledons of angiosperm. Flowers in netum will resemble the male flowers of the angiosperm. Zygote represent the first cell of the sporophyte in both the groups. Presence of integument around the ovule is common for both the groups. Both the plant groups produce seeds. They will have pollen tube to help in the transfer of male nucleus to the ovule. Both of them possess eustele. Angiosperms. Angiosperms are spermatophyte. They include all the plant which bears the ovules, and the ovules are enclosed within the ovary. They are flowering plants. They constitute the major group of our earth and adapted to the terrestrial mode of life. These plants appear during the early Cretaceous period, that is 140 million years ago. The sporophyte is the dominant phase and the gametophyte is highly reduced in the angiosperm. The salient features of angiosperm: vascular tissue, xylem, phloem are very well developed. Flowers are produced instead of cone. Ovules remain enclosed in the ovary. Pollen tube helps in the fertilization, so water is not essential for fertilization. Double fertilization is present and endosperm is triploid. Angiosperms are classified into class monocotyledons and class dicotyledons. What are the differences between monocot and dicot? Monocotyledon plants have single cotyledon in their seeds, whereas dicot have two cotyledons in their seed. The leaves of the monocotyledon plants have parallel venation, whereas the leaves of the dicot plants have reticulate venation. Fibrous root system is present in the monocot. Taproot system is present in the dicot. The flowers are trimerous in monocot. The flowers are tetra or pentamerous in dicot. Pollen grains are present in both the groups. The calyx and corolla are not differentiated, and so it is called as perianth. Together they are called as perianth, which is present in the monocotyledon, whereas in dicot the calyx and corolla are differentiated. Example for monocot, lilium and paddy. Example for dicot, beans and mango. Anatomical differences of monocot and dicot. Vascular bundles are scattered in the stem of the monocot, whereas vascular bundles are arranged in the form of a ring in dicot stem. Vascular bundles are closed without cambium, whereas in dicot the vascular bundles are open with cambium. Secondary growth is absent in the case of monocot and secondary growth is present in dicot. What is paleobotany? Study of plant fossils of past geological age is called as paleobotany. People study paleobotany with the view to establish flora, phylogeny, form and structure of the plants, ecology through the ages, how the flora is changing from period to period. The National Wood Fossil Park in Thiruvakkarai, Viluppuram district contain petrified wood fossils which are approximately 20 million years old. The term form genera is used to name the fossil plants, because we will not be able to get the whole plant as fossils. Instead we will get either the organs or the parts of the extinct plants as fossils. Shivalik Fossil Park in Himachal Pradesh, Mandla Fossil Park in Madhya Pradesh, Rajmahal Hills in Jharkhand, Ariyalur in Tamil Nadu are some of the fossil rich sites of India. There are fossil representatives like fossil algae, fossil bryophytes, fossil pteridophyte, fossil gymnosperm, fossil angiosperm. So all these are the names of them which are recorded and kept in the museum. Professor Birbal Sahni, he is considered as the father of paleobotany. He has described about the fossil plants from Rajmahal Hills of eastern Bihar. Birbal Sahni Institute of Paleobotany is located in Lucknow.